Hello to the two fans and welcome. This is Chicago Ted bringing to you CEVO Season 6, Week 2-2, Day 1. That's right, Wednesday of the last week before we break for the holidays. So we're really excited about this. Lots of interesting developments in the standings department. Teams doing better than expected. Teams struggling a little more than we expected. But throughout the board, just lots of interesting things happening all over the place. So really looking forward to this being a good season. If you haven't watched CEVO yet, if you're coming over here from Join Dota, well, we're happy to have you joining us. If you are brand new, or if you're a returning viewer, we thank you for your constant support. But yeah, if you're brand new to the CEVO scene, where this is week 2 of 8 possible weeks of group stage action before we head off into the playoffs, and that happens at the end. I think it happens really shortly after the 8th week finishes up. But that aside, this is the last week before we break for the holidays. Tomorrow is going to be the last official day before that vacation. So really happy to be able to take some time off. I know a lot of tournaments sometimes go straight through that, and it can be a bother. But no, we're going to break off a little bit there and then come right back. But we don't have to worry about that right now as we are in the draft. So let's bring you guys into that as we've got Union Gaming versus Teamwork Makes the Dream Work. We're going to be referring to them, though, as the Black Sheep this game. That's what they've been changing their name to recently, and respect that name change.
10 seconds to go.
They have less stand-ins today. Usually they play with multiple stand-ins.
5
I think
seconds.
the other day they had a Universe standing in for them, but today they've got pretty much their full
Reserve
roster,
time.
at least from what I remember it to be. So looking forward to them bringing their A game. And same with Union. Just I think they recently had a
Radiant's
roster change,
banned.
but I think that was confirmed by a fan of Soren Goody was on the other day. Recently had a roster change, and they've been working out pretty well with it. So excited to see both these rosters and expect a
Dyer's
great
banned.
game out of them. So we're going to see the first couple of bands come out. Tidehunter and Faceless Void gone away. A little bit of background for you guys. Monkeys Forever, one of my favorite Ember Spirit players. I really hope we see it this game, but probably not.
10
Leo
seconds
style,
to
though,
go.
last game we casted of him, he was up against E-Hug.
5 seconds.
And his puck play was absolutely incredible. They started out pretty far
Reserve
ahead.
time.
E-Hug scraped back, and then Union Gaming took it right back again. So a very exciting game. That VOD is up, by the way, on YouTube if you want to go watch that. Union Gaming versus E-Hug was an incredible game to cast and a
Radiant's
hell of a lot of
banned.
fun to watch. So if you are so inclined to go check that one out, I would strongly, strongly recommend it. As for the Black Sheep, Teamwork Makes the Dream Work.
10
They
seconds to go.
have a lot of success with many different lineups. There isn't one
5
specific
seconds.
thing that I would pin them down as being famous for. So we'll just expect them to pull out all the stops. This is one of the first
Dyer's
games, by the
pick.
way. First professional game on the new patch. So really excited about this. I don't think we're going to shift immediately into that, but we do have to keep our eyes on what potential changes are coming about with the heroes that make it into this game, because it will be some interesting stuff that we're going to have to keep an eye out for.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds.
But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring up that patch information so that when new heroes come up that did get patched,
Reserve time.
I can just quickly reference that and we'll be good to go. So yeah, on the screen. We are good. Elder Titan getting taken out, Brewmaster as well. So all this hate for those 4 heroes. Now we get to see some actual hero picks come out. And it's going to be Earth Shaker to be
Radiant's
the first one.
pick.
Only really getting a slight change. Enchant Totem mana cost reduced. Now it scales instead of being 50 throughout. You can see I can actually hover over the tooltip. It goes 20, 30, 40, 50. And actually, the tooltip does get blocked. But yeah, it's 20, 30, 40, 50 nowadays. Only a little bit of an early game mana cost change, and it doesn't entirely
Looks like 10
affect
seconds
his
to
play
go.
as much as some of the other patches have dropped.
5
But it does,
seconds.
again, make it so he has less mana problems early if he does go for the
Radiant's
enchant
pick.
totem into the aftershock build for that nice stun CC that you get from that.
Dire's
Ogre
pick.
Magi and Razor coming out first though from Union Gaming. A little bit of a throwback to the last patch, which it isn't all that long ago, but Ogre Magi getting a bit of a range nerf on his Fire Blast there, so that's really the notable thing for that hero. I wouldn't say it's a nerf to the ground, but slight damage from Fire Blast is going to get taken away, as well as the cast
10
range
seconds
going
to
down
go.
by about 125 units. So,
5
again,
seconds.
he's a strong laner. It's mostly his Ignite that becomes the problem in lanes, at least in the early lanes, and
Reserve time.
that's what's going to... I don't think he's going to get propelled out of the meta, and Union Gaming still feel comfortable to pick him up. Razor, on the other hand, though, doesn't look like he got anything, so... Yeah, looks like Razor pretty much forgotten in this patch, so he'll be just the same as always. Nothing really new to expect from him. A lot of lane presence coming out from Union Gaming, though. Razor and Ogre
Dire's banned.
are going to do well to win their lanes, or at least give a huge amount of early game potential to those lanes. Razor, played in the mid, really doesn't lose to many heroes. I mean, I can think of a lot of break-even matchups like Razor versus Viper, but losing, I wouldn't put that down
Radiant's
on
banned.
nearly anyone, so... Centaur Warrunner are going to be the pickup, though, from the Black Sheep, and going to take a quick look at what he sees in this. Well, of course...
10 seconds to go.
Come on, Centaur. Nothing?
5
Nothing?
seconds.
Okay. Yeah. Nothing for Centaur. He's just the same as always,
Reserve
a big burly
time.
CC stunner. A lot of AoE stun, by the way, coming out from the Black Sheep. Centaur is going to help position Earthshaker as well. Him being so position dependent, can't usually find an early blink. It'll be very, very good for him. But overall,
Oh,
Centaur
good.
Warrunner, toss him in the off lane. It's a hero that you can pretty much throw in the off and forget about. He doesn't really lose too much. He's pretty tanky. He can sit through most of the harass, pick up a stout shield and early boots, and I mean, there's nothing you got to worry about the guy. High base damage, or about high base HP, great damage, and really just overall a very, very strong overall hero. So we got plenty of crowd control coming out from Black Sheep already. They have a lot of leeway to start picking up some alternative cores or supports and maybe go for some extra right-click damage or some nuke damage here and seal the deal with that. Tidehunter's gone, so we're not going to be seeing the Earthshaker Tide. Phaseless Void's gone, so again, not going to be seeing any of
Dire's
those
banned.
combinations come up. Viper and Death Prophet going away. A lot of mid-heroes getting taken out of the pool. Black Sheep are going to have to go for something a little less super tanky in the mid lane. And, I mean, it's no problem for them. A
10
lot of
seconds to
mid-heroes
go.
are really good. They could be going for the Templar Assassin this game. I know
5
she got a
seconds.
major, a bit of a major change coming up with the Blink Dagger not getting canceled if she's under Refraction
Reserve
Shield. So
time.
we'll have to see
Radiant's
that.
banned.
Brood gets banned out. Kind of leads me to believe that maybe they're not thinking about the TA all that much, because of the fact that TA can completely rip apart a Broodmother. But it's still not off the
10
menu for
seconds
them.
to
And
go.
Brood, all of us, just ultimately a really, really powerful pusher,
Radiant's
really
pick.
good lane presence. Just great stuff all around. Skywrath Mage gets
Dire's
picked
pick.
up. We will see more and more meta coming out from Union Gaming. They don't exactly have a long CC for Skywrath Mage to drop down his Mystic Flare in its entirety, but the slows are there, which can keep someone in if it is a correctly positioned Mystic. But it leads me to believe that maybe they're going to start thinking about some really hard stunners coming up. Lion comes to mind, the base damage increase helping out. Crystal Maiden as
10
well
seconds to go.
comes to mind there. So either of those two guys
5
could
seconds.
end up jumping on into this game. For Black Sheep, though, as I said, they do have plenty of
Reserve
CC
time.
already, so they're going to go for more damage, and that's going to be in the form of a
Radiant's
Shadow
pick.
Fiend. So definitely a overall strong hero. I think his raise got damage changed damage. Yeah, it did. Shadow raise damage increased by about 25 by 25 across the board. Helps out his early last hitting pretty much immensely. One of the builds that started to be a little popular back not too long ago was going for the
10
raise
seconds to go.
first and then picking up a point in Necromastery, just because you
5
could pick up
seconds.
that early CC, grab some gold, pick up some early CS. God, I'm going to get these acronyms messed up all
Reserve
throughout the game, aren't
time.
I? But pick up that early creep kill, early gold, get your bottle or whatever first item you want to get out to you, and then, I mean, you've already got some decent damage from levels, or you use that raise to get the kills when you pick up the Necromastery. One of the things that was thought was it wasn't worth it to sacrifice those early last hits if you go for that Necromastery, and you'll get them anyway when you pick up Raise, so why not grab Raise first? But now it may seem a little bit more as he gets more bang for his buck in terms of mana to damage, and it will pretty much guarantee the
10
last hit. I mean,
seconds to
100
go.
damage is a lot of damage in the early game, so we may see that. And Puck does come out. I talked about
Dyer's
Leo
pick.
Styles Puck in the earlier parts of the draft, and it looks like that's what he's most comfortable with. He'll play that hero, and he'll be going up against Shadow Fiend, which is a really good matchup for Puck. Incredibly high damage throughout the game. If you stack Null Talismans, you can effectively make Arteezy rage quit out of the game, and it's a great hero, good ultimate, good solo pickoff potential. I can see Shadow Fiend having a
10
bit of
seconds to
difficulty,
go.
and it may just come down to them possibly
5
running him in the
seconds.
safe lane and grabbing another mid, but that is entirely up to them. I wonder exactly what
Reserve
they're
time.
going to do with this and how they're going to deal with that Puck. Maybe a couple of early ganks coming from the Earthshaker or facilitated by the Earthshaker and maybe the next support could help get Shadow Fiend up a little bit ahead of Puck, because if you can level up those raises quickly, Puck might start being less of a problem. But it looks like they're going to go for the
Radiant's
Ancient Apparition, which will help them. The Cold Feet will stack up with the Fisher and the Enchant Totem if you can get both of them off, and they'll get a long, long duration of stun out on whoever they want to if they can, again, if they can play it correctly and get him out
Dyer's
correctly.
banned.
So we may see that, or we will see that. They're both in the game, but again, Ancient Apparition, he'll give a little bit of extra damage. I don't think he'll be laning with the Shadow Fiend too often. We might not
Radiant's
see that
pick.
come into play at all, but he'll also just help the overall situation of the game. I mean, Razor's pretty tanky, Ogre's pretty tanky. You drop the Ice Blast on all of them, and all of a sudden they become not so tanky. Slark gets picked up by Union Gaming, Phantom Assassin as well. Nature's Prophet, or I'm sorry, banned out throughout. But Nature's Prophet getting banned out as well, and
10 seconds to go.
it looks like we're going on to the last picks, and it will be a Templar Assassin coming
Dyer's
out in
pick.
this game. All right, so yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be coming out for the Black Sheep. I'm actually rather surprised. But Black Sheep, I wonder what they're going to go for last. I mean,
10
they've got
seconds
both
to
their
go.
supports. They've got their off lane. They've got mid or carry.
5
I can't
seconds.
exactly put it down to which one it's going to be, but
Reserve
one of these
time.
comes out. And Union, I think they think is going to be carry with the Slark and the PA pick, and it will be. It's going to be a carry Venomancer coming out, or a carry Earthshaker, whichever one they decide to run. I imagine it's going to be the Veno, though, and that's their lineup. They've got some pretty amazing damage. They got the damage over time for the Templar Assassin. Ice Blast plus Poison Nova is going to be an incredible amount of damage overall. It's going to be able to take them down really quickly, and well, we'll start to see, maybe we see Union Gaming just melting down in no time at all if they're not careful about this game. So we're going to bring you on in. It looks like players having a bit of difficulty choosing their heroes. Bit of a lag fest going on in US East right now, so hopefully that doesn't affect this game, but I imagine we're going to have a pause almost immediately, as is typical
10
NASA
seconds to
fashion,
go.
and, well, we'll get right on into the game as soon
5
as
seconds.
we can. 5 seconds, and then kaboom. Oh, almost timed right. Little bit off. Anyway, yep, paused almost immediately. Union Gaming dealing with a bit of a disconnect coming out, but shuffling in due time. We're looking at this game starting pretty soon. It's going to be the Black Sheep, or as noted on CEVO and Join Dota, teamwork makes the dream work. They're going to have Big Bad Bird on the Big Bad Earthshaker in December on the Ancient Apparition. Bloody Nine is going to be picking up the Centaur Warrunner with Monkeys Forever on the Shadow Fiend, and Venomancer being played by the one, the only, I Annihilate. Meanwhile, for Union Gaming, they've got Leo Style. He's not going to be on the puck. It's going to be Greedy, the offlaner, playing the puck this time. Leo Style is going to be on the Phantom Assassin. Zetok going to be on the Skywrath Mage. Jericho on the Ogre Magi. And, you know, these heroes do actually fit them very well. Ben has on the Razor. Leo Style is a very mobile, very gank-oriented mid laner, and just very, very in tune with the heroes he plays. So I can imagine this is going to be a very nice game for him. And he as well will be able to blow up the Shadow Fiend. But it looks like they are going to run Shadow Fiend up in the top lane and put the Centaur Warrunner mid. That's an interesting decision. I would have thought maybe I Annihilate would have been a bit better. And come to think of it, I think that's exactly what they're going to do, is throw I Annihilate here in the mid lane. As soon as they're able to scout out who is mid. Originally, I think they might be trying to pick this off. No, there's no way they could spin this one. Possibly they think that Razor's going mid and a carry Templar Assassin with the offlane puck or something along those lines. I don't know, but this one just seems to make a little bit more sense with a Templar Assassin being picked up like this. And with Leo Style picking it up, that's a dead giveaway as to where he is going to be played in this game. Still have a bit of issues coming out, though. These aren't puppy pauses, by the way. Warts haven't gone down yet, so if you're going to complain about Union Gaming pause cheating, then, well, not yet. Not yet. So, anyway, just a quick recap for you guys who are just joining in, who have no idea what's going on right now. This is Union Gaming versus Black Sheep, formerly identified as Teamwork Makes the Dream Work, and I think they still identify as that, but they just want to make things confusing for me is what it comes down to. But this is CEVO Season 6, if you can read on the screen. We're in Week 2/2, Day 1, and we split weeks up into 2, so there's 3 days technically per half, and ultimately, I just kind of want to call it Week 2, Day 3, just to simplify it out right now, because Tuesday is a mesh of both Day 1 and Day 2. This could actually be a Week 2-1 game and not a Week 2-2 game, but it's really confusing right now if trying to explain it. When you look at it top down, it's simple, but again, explaining it's a bit weird, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Don't really care too much about it, and just know that we are in Week 2, the last week before we take a break for the holidays. So if you're going home for the holidays, no matter what you celebrate, happy holidays to you. And, well, we'll be back in January to bring you more CEVO after this week finishes up. As we have a reconnect from Greedy, we'll be coming back into the game. So, at the moment, I would really put the early game down onto Union Gaming. This Skywrath Mage Ogre Magi combo is one that we see quite often and is incredibly potent. It finds kills when it needs to. It just completely rips apart the competition, and they're going to go ahead and run that as an aggressive try. So they're going to meet up against the tri lane of Teamwork Makes the Dream Work, and even though Earthshaker is a really good defensive support, it's going to be difficult for Monkeys Forever to find that early CS. He may just have to go for an early point and raise just to grab those critical CS that he needs to grab. And Bloody Nine, he's going to end up having to go up against Greedy, which is a fairly decent matchup for Centaur, at least for the first couple of minutes until the magic damage starts becoming really a problem. And even then, Bloody 9 may just want to consider picking up an early Robo the not Robo the Magi. What do they even call it these days? Cloak, just standard cloak. And if he grabs that, maybe some early magic resistance coming out for him, but he'll tank up fairly quickly and be able to deal with that and not have to worry too much about it. But it starts becoming a problem if it comes out, puck comes online really early, which in the solo lane he will. The first bounty rune being captured by Monkeys Forever. Centaur Warrior and Bloody 9 getting the other one, but Monkeys could end up paying for this one. And December does not have another Fisher, and that's going to be first blood. 359 going the way of the Razor. So he didn't get a bounty rune, but he certainly got a ton of gold. And this is going to be really interesting. This sort of meta it forces out is that the fight over the bounty rune is going to start finding more first bloods than it does not. And this tri-lane coming out from Teamwork Makes the Dream Work is not going to be able to win these matchups, at least not against Union Gaming. And, well, another pause coming out. This one's a little more suspicious, but no matter. We'll have to try to time this one as looking out throughout the map. Again, Bloody 9 did get one of the bounty runes. He's sitting on 156 gold. Even though Monkeys Forever got that bounty rune, it is looking like his actual gold is looking pretty pitiful. He did have to buy that early TP scroll to get up to the top lane, and that really hurts his ability to do much. I mean, if they hadn't gone for that bounty rune, I'm pretty sure he'd be better off right now, is what it comes down to. And Union Gaming are going to win that no matter what happened. They got the Fisher out to try to block that initiation, but it wasn't soon enough. It happened a little bit too late, gave enough time for Ogre Magi to get in position, and that was the end of that. So once you get linked by Razor, you're not getting away. The 345 base movement speed is well above anyone, or not base movement speed, he has boots already, but that's well above whatever Shadow Fiend had or whatever anyone on the Black Sheep had. So just great play, great awareness coming out from Union Gaming, and Black Sheep, they end up giving away a little more than they'd want to in the early parts of the game. So we're ready to go on into the game again. 30 seconds in, already have had a couple of fairly decent pauses, but no matter, as we're ready to go. So just going to take a quick look. I Annihilate going to start off a little weak in this lane, but he does have the damage over time, procking down on Templar Assassin. And that's not really going to hit through his Refraction Shield just yet. It's too low of damage, but it will start once he gets a couple of extra points in it. In the meantime, the contest of the poll comes out from Union Gaming, as they just don't want to lose out on this XP. And again, this aggressive tri-lane might be difficult to deal with, but they Fisher and Zetok, and he uses up all of his tangos to get through. The 100 damage from Monkeys Forever's raise will clean him up. And that's actually a really big kill for them. You can see about 300 gold going the way of the Black Sheep. And now Monkeys Forever has level 2, got a point in a Necro Mastery, and that Fisher block coming out from in December, absolutely on point. So well played coming out from them, and that'll secure them a spot on the board. As I Annihilate, keeping up with Leo Style in the mid lane, and he's looking pretty good actually. This Venomancer being able to keep up in last hits is going to just completely wreck this mid lane. There isn't much that Templar Assassin can do about this. I mean, the high damage that he gets from the Refraction Shield is going to help clean up those early level wards if I Annihilate decides to place him down when he gets him at level 1. But again, the wards tank up very quickly, and Leo Styles, his damage just doesn't quite scale as quickly, so that might become a problem. We'll have to keep an eye on that lane and keep an eye on Leo Styles' HP pool just ticking down. As we see the skill build coming out from I Annihilate is actually going to be the point into Venomous Gale, so he's going full on slow damage over time and not really worrying about the ward push just yet. Trading fairly evenly in the bottom lane is Greedy and Bloody 9. Greedy 10 for 2 to Bloody 9's 8 and 3 in the top lane, though. Monkeys Forever could drop. It's going to be the Plasma Field to secure that kill. Big Bad Bird also could be in a lot of trouble. He has enough going into the trees, but has to run back. The pathing issues not really working in his favor. In December, though, should be able to get out alive and well. He doesn't have a Fisher just yet, so can't quite pursue any further. As I Annihilate ends up taking a lot of damage in this mid lane. Almost going down there, it looks like, as He's dropping a huge amount of HP. That side blades, yeah, Leo Style does end up going for the first port in side blades, which is really good pure damage harass going up against I Annihilate. Does have his bottle though, so he's not too worried. Gonna go ahead and bottle Crow back and just continue to try to dominate this lane. As if he stays on par, he ends up, again, just winning this one out. He's going to go ahead and throw some damage over time onto Leo Style and tries to get some damage, but he can't quite push into this one. One Mel Strike, and he's pretty much dead. So he does have support coming in from Big Bad Bird. No Ice Blast ready to go, though. And that will just be the end of that for now. They've got in December making his move, still level 1, but as is expected, is Monkeys Forever getting linked up and thrown back under tower with less than 0 damage. He can't last hit. He has to use his Raise to farm, and I guess that's the upside to having a Shadow Fiend is you do have Raise to farm up those pivotal last hits. In December, going to find himself a Bounty Rune, kind of good for him. I Annihilate going to grab himself an Invis Rune underneath the nice little tree here. The present's all set and ready to go. It is actually lit up with some nice colors too, so very nice. This isn't the winter map, by the way, but it is snowing. So that's kind of cool coming out. In the mid lane, though, I'm constantly keeping an eye on this one, but the scoreboard shows a really interesting story being told as Union Gaming is coming ahead, and all of the CS, like 3 of their heroes are the top 3 in CS. Now Jericho turns around and finds Big Bad Bird in the jungle. We'll throw out a Fire Blast and an Ignite, and there's nothing you can do to get away from this one. Big Bad Bird will throw down the chilling,
We outsmarted them.
So that's
the chilling touch, and they'll all just get some damage, but it won't really help them much as Jericho is alive and well, pretty much full HP. He finds in December in the jungle, and he's got a lot of mana to be able to just stun him down, but he won't just yet. Instead, is fine with simply spotting him out. Z-Talk waiting for a concussive shot, has the mana for it, but not much else at the moment. And Monkeys Forever realizing that there is something afoot, he grabs himself a nice cozy spot underneath the tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, mid lane, as Puck kills Centaur Warrunner, Blade 9 in the bottom lane, it looks like they want to try to go for this, and they will. They're going to grab some damage on Leo Style. Does he have a Refraction Shield? 5 seconds. He's not getting away. No, he melds. They've got no vision for him. The damage over time isn't quite enough. They get him.
Secrets.
Oh, man.
Nothing touches the
He
heart
barely
like
ticks
private.
right before the Refraction Shield comes online, and, well, that's a bit of a disappointment for him, I guess, as a huge sum of gold goes away of I Annihilate. Bloody 9, meanwhile, getting return kill on Puck as in December, I think. Sitting back behind the towers, I saw him in a rather defensive position right there. So it wasn't ended up being a trade-off. Greedy will throw out the Silence Awaiting Rift. Now they get the stomp, double edge, and he's gone. The Fairy Dragon gets sent to Neverland. And, well, I think Centaur Warrunner are pretty happy with that one. 600 gold in total between Centaur and Earthshaper from that kill. And I think they're very happy about that. So as they turn around, make their way towards mid lane. A Venomous Gale comes out into Leo Style, but it doesn't look like it's doing too much. He's not fearing anything with this. He knows he's got the Psionic Traps if I Annihilate decides to chase, and the supports, Big Bad Bird and December, don't end up going behind him, so they're not too worried. Or at least Leo Style is not too worried. Doesn't quite have vision of the impending doom, but I think he sort of gets it. No, he doesn't. Venomous Gale and Poison Nova comes out. They have a Fissure. Do they even want to spend it just yet? They're waiting for the meld. They end up popping it out anyway, and he'll just go down here. I Annihilate in a lot of trouble, though, and Greedy comes in, and not really too greedy as he ends up grabbing the kill. A concussive shot comes out in December, and Greedy waiting for that orb. Doesn't even need it. Now he can use it on Big Bad Bird. A lot of damage. Jericho comes out and cleans house, and Greedy finds a double kill, a 3-for-1 in the mid lane, and a brawl gone completely wrong if you're Black Sheep here. And they give away a touch of advantage as, well, they didn't really have anything to begin with, maybe a little bit of XP, but that's going to head up towards equilibrium and even past that mark. 1,000 advantage in gold. Nothing too substantial, but for a pre-10-minute game, it's looking decent for the early game of Union Gaming. Of course, Leo Style wasn't there for any of those kills. He's still 0-2.
Radiant's bottom tower.
So he's not too happy with the amount of farm he's getting, but it's not as bad as it could be for him. Greedy will find himself a bounty rune, by the way. Very nice. Refills his bottle. And Bloody 9 has to be careful. Jericho is here, does have a Fire Blast. Not enough for both, but just enough to... actually, he might have enough for both with the magic stick. And they're going to pop out the Ignite first. And doesn't even need it. Now pops the Magic Stick. Ignite. Our Fire Blast comes out. Orb as well. He's going to Stampede before the Waning Rift comes out. And he gets himself away. And December is there to cover his trail. And he gets himself away. Very low HP, though. Has Tranquil Boots, so he'll be able to heal himself up very quickly and get back on into the fray in no time at all. But the score sits at 8-5 at 8.5 minutes. And just another quick look at the Golden XP graph. Tells the story that we've been expecting out of that last 3-for-1 in the mid lane. And well, a lane we haven't looked at in a while is a top lane, mostly because it got diffused by the Shadow Fiend, pretty much leaving it to go jungle. You can see he's stacking and pulling camps. Has a Glove of Haste. Not quite sure if he's going to be building. Probably going to just be building into treads right now, as a Midas would be overly greedy. But I mean, Midas is a pretty common build. Big Bad Bird goes into the jungle, but gets spotted out by the Plasma Field. And one last Arcane Bolt comes on, and Annihilate, though, wants something out of this one. He's going to go ahead, one auto attack just to slow Z-Talk, and now they're chasing in on him. He's got no way out. Arcane Orb comes out, but a Pyrrhic or a shallow move from him as they end up cleaning him up. And Earthshaker in December will find that kill. It's a killing spree from Z-Talk, by the way, as I Annihilate. He's underneath Eye of the Storm, but he pops out a Poison Nova and his Venomous Gale onto Ben Has. Now a couple of auto attacks. The Ward's also cleaning him up, and he's going to try to run away. Do they have a Fisher to clean him up? They don't have anything. Even with Magic Wand, not enough. But one last auto attack, not going to be enough either. The damage over time drops 20, 30, and he's regenning a bit too fast. Meanwhile, action elsewhere as we see Centaur does end up going down in the bottom lane to Greedy. Greedy takes a lot of damage from that one, but still alive and kicking. And Union Gaming getting further and further ahead. Z-Talk getting stunned by the Fisher. They drop down a freezing field onto him, but it's not going to do anything. Monkeys Forever getting slowed by Silent Trap. They grab a Stampede. Jericho in, though, finds the Fire Blast. Can they grab the damage? Stampede is over, and Monkeys Forever is over as well. Templar Assassin Leo style. Going to grab that kill to put him up for his first on the board.
But it hides from the
and help him out with that snowball. He's got Phase Boots ready to go. You can see that nice flipped texture. I almost didn't recognize it, but Bracer and Bottle are there as well. So Phase Drums as his standard build coming out from the Templar Assassin. And possibly just a Yasha after that. And maybe we see a Blink this game, as we did see a little bit of change with the Blink and the Refraction. Or he could just go straight and do Desolator, which is pretty typical, and go from there.
Mid tower won't last much longer.
You see a gank from Jericho and Z-Talk into the jungle. Jericho is being a monster on this Ogre. They're going to find Monkeys. They will reveal the smoke before he gets in range of the Fire Blast, but they get the concussive shot off. Fire Blast on the high ground and a Mystic Flare to boot. And now they go for his camp. Yeah, they clean up both the big creeps, or at least one of them. Very unfortunate for Monkeys Forever. Can't seem to find any break in this game. Jericho, though, is caught a bit out of position with his pants down, but there's no one there to capitalize. Instead, they're looking for Z-Talk, and they'll find him. Enchant Totem getting a bit of a stun, and everything else just flying their way. So in the meantime, Razor cleans up the top tier 1 tower. Going to find an early BKB as he's got the Mithril Hammer and the Ogre Club. And he'll be able to grab that recipe at about 1,300 gold.
Dire structures
Meanwhile, while of Shadows finished on Z-Talk, and the Fisher comes out, blocks Leo style in, Stomp comes down, Poison Nova spent as well, and they're going to clean him up. TP won't help him. But in the meantime, Puck finds Big Bad Bird and Greedy. Again, not very greedy. He just finds kills through and through. Blink Dagger finished on the Puck, by the way, and he finds himself another bounty rune. So gold coming out of his eardrums.
Top towers, you know the drill.
Invisibility.
Monkeys Forever just trying to farm back up again, sitting only at 19 souls with a maxed out Necromastery. And Skywrath Mage, oh dear God, in this mid lane it looks like things are happening all over the place. Greedy will get cleaned up by a Bloody 9. But we've got Z-Talk finding a kill on I Annihilate. So a bit of a brawl in the hall. They got 1 for 1, but it's a mid for a... Well, it's an offlane for a mid. pretty nice trade-off coming out from that one. The Golden XP graph just going to shoot down a little bit because Puck is obviously doing just a little bit better in this game. And well, let's take a quick look at the net worth right now, as we have a bit of a low right, and we definitely see what we expected. Shadow Fiend pretty low on the net worth board, and it looked like he did end up going for the Hand of Midas on this, so very greedy, but at the same time, he's going to need it to come back. You see he's having so much trouble even farming his own jungle, getting spotted out by smoke rotation, so he's going to have to be very careful, but that Midas is going to help him farm up a little bit faster than he normally would. Unfortunately, with the 5th highest net worth, it's going to be quite an uphill battle. The highest belonging to Ben has on the Razor, again getting very close to that BKB, but it's not going to help him right now as they're going to chain stun him down. They got lots of CC, everything just hitting, thrown on him. I don't think he even saw what happened. He just was stunned the entire damn time. Ice Blast comes in, hits on Jericho solo, maybe Leo Style actually gets hit by the trail end of that one. Blade 9, Urn of Shadows onto him, and he actually gets away. Ice Blast cleaning down Jericho in December will go. Jericho actually barely survives from the Ice Blast, but will go down regardless. Annihilate in a lot of trouble. There is a Refraction Shield. Annihilate taking a lot of damage. Big Bad Bird will clean up that kill. Waning Rift, and Ben has just regular auto attacks will finish him out before the TP completes, and it's a 3 for 3 in the jungle. 3 for 4 rather, as Razor did go down and bought back. Ooh, man, so the Black Sheep, teamwork makes the dream work, getting a huge sum of gold from that one, and a huge sum of experience, about 1K going their way in XP, 1,300 their way, and gold for a pretty equal damage done. And I mean, they're quite happy with that trade, I imagine.
The Dire's bottom tower.
As in the meantime, that was a nice gank, and Monkeys Forever still farming in the bottom lane. Bloody 9. I keep taking a look up at Monkeys Forever, thinking something interesting is going to happen. Finally, something interesting happens, and he'll just, yeah, he'll pop. So yeah, that was what I was watching for, and unfortunately missed out on our Centaur Warrunner finding Greedy. So I guess Greedy got greedy. I don't know. I'm gonna keep bringing up that pun all game. By the way, you're gonna get pretty tired of it by the time this is done. But that is a pretty nice kill going the way of the Centaur Warrunner, and I Annihilate in the mid lane. Looks like he was trading blows a bit with Leo Style, but Leo is perfectly happy and perfectly content with the amount of HP he has. Just goes straight onto the jungle and has phase drums and is going straight for that Yasha. So not going to be the first to build that Blink Dagger, and probably not going to be the last either. So actually, not going to be the last to not build it. As a DD spawns in the top lane, a double bounty rune going the way of I Annihilate as he picks up a nice chunk of gold. But Templar Assassin, Leo Style, is going to find that DD, so he is a force to be reckoned with right now. Can just make his way into the jungle and pop anyone in no time at all. 200 and about 230 damage going to be coming out from that first auto attack, plus the Meld Strike, bonus damage, bonus 200 damage from Meld. And then the minus armor is going to be difficult to deal with. Blade 9, though, is coming in. He doesn't even want to deal with it. He's going to go in, Blink Stomp, but misses the Stomp entirely. Now Leo Style goes into Meld, knowing exactly that he can just clean up the Centaur if need be, and he won't end up having to lay as a trap and doesn't worry about it further. So he's still looking pretty strong in this game. A pretty sizable push coming in the top lane. They've got both supports hanging close by, ready to make a go on anyone that tries to defend. The pings do fly out, though, as in December and I Annihilate start to make their long journey down to the bottom lane. It looks like the Big Bad Bird going to start it off with an Ice Blast, and our Earthshaker doesn't have a blink, not yet, but the Ice Blast is going to connect at least onto Greedy. And in December, going to try to find a Fisher, doesn't grab the puck here, Greedy getting away, and that'll be just fine for him, as Earthshaker in December will deny the tower. And Leo Style still with that double damage. The ward spotted out his movement, still spots out his movements. They know exactly where he is. So Centaur not afraid at all of what's going on in the shadows. Pings come out. It looks like Greedy and Co want to try to kill off, get a couple kills on I Annihilate here. They do have a Plague Ward. They spot him out, and that damage getting blocked out by a phase shift. obligatory LD WoW coming out there. And again, I gotta point out that Shadow Fiend, despite getting shut down, he keeps picking himself back up again and going straight to the jungle and farming. His net worth still 5th on the board, but that's more of a victory than anything, maintaining your position on the net worth while getting shut down. 5 deaths. His level, not looking too bad in comparison to everyone else. He's actually in the top 2 levels, 12 and 13. The highest actually goes to the Centaur Warrunner on his own team, so very nice, but he's going to go down again. There's really nothing to say about that. Leo Style goes in, finds the kill, and gets himself out. And they can't protect him at all. Big Bad Bird doesn't have an instant CC, so he can't help Monkeys Forever. And our Earthshaker in December was pretty much nowhere to be found. Sitting close by, but not close enough. He does have a Blink Dagger, though. That is ready to go. But right now, Black Sheep or Teamwork Makes the Dream Work are sitting fairly 4v5 right now. Shadow Fiend is going to go for that BKB, but even when he has it up, the Meld Strike coming out from Leo Style is going to rip through his HP pool. He really doesn't have any good armor except for the one he naturally builds from his agility, and he's not going any agi items, so at least not yet, and he can't really afford to either, so he just relies on his straight up agi gain for the extra armor and this nice ring of protection that he's picked up for himself. But even with that, in BKB form, he's going to get completely torn apart. And unfortunately for him, that's not going to change throughout the game. And that is going to be a huge problem for him going on into the mid game, as Razor with the minus armor, Meld Strike minus armor from Leo. It's going to be way too much for him to deal with, and coming from so far behind in the gold, he's not going to have any items to deal with it. Maybe he just goes straight for a plate mail after this and tries to stand up for some extra armor, but he needs that BKB, so that's going to be the first and foremost for items coming out from him. As we're ready to go back on into the game, don't even need the CS board right now. What's important is the net worth, the top of the board getting hit by Benhaz, as should be the farming 1 position. They want Leo Style. The Ice Blast comes out. Echo Slam hits immediately onto him, and they don't waste any time. He's gone. Bloody 9, though, is going to TP himself out. They don't have any stun for him, so he gets away. Only stunned by the break, but that's after he gets all the way back to base, so we'll have to see.
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days.
Well, we won't have to see. He gets himself away. No big deal.
Trying to bust down Radiant structures now.
But that was a very nice pickoff for them. I think Templar Assassin is starting to become that pickoff that, I mean, it's a great pickoff, but you really want to kill Benhaz at some point. As Puck going down again. Damn it, this bottom lane is really screwing with me right now. My eyes just aren't looking at it. Now we might see a kill on Benhaz, though. They dropped the Poison Nova and actually missed onto him. He gets out of the AoE. But the Ice Blast will connect, and they get the Stomp out on him, the double edge, and he just gets cleaned. So this combo is starting to come into fruition majorly. And they're going to go ahead and grab 3 kills for nothing, as they're still behind in the kill score, but way ahead in the momentum, as you can see, already picking up a huge golden experience advantage. The gold heading back towards 0, and then we'll start to see it dip underneath. Jericho getting away from the Venomous Gale, as he does have a Force Staff ready to go. And he'll be building a Soul Ring fairly soon. In December, though, is going to get way aggressive onto the Tier 1 tower, and then they go for him. Slapped in the face by a giant totem. And Jericho goes down, getting a taste of his own medicine, as we see Big Bad Bird won't be so lucky to get away. He just dies completely. Bloody 9 ends up canceling his stomp. Very nice play from him. Cancels it again, is looking for Greedy. Pops the double edge, but they get the silence on him from the Ancient Seal, and that'll be the end of that. Still, what ends up being 4 for 2, or something along those lines. 4 for 1, rather, so Union Gaming starting to give away a little bit of pick off here and there. They kind of want to tighten up their play at this point on. Giving away that kind of advantage is not really advisable. And they did sort of the same thing in the E-Hug game that they played not too recently, or pretty recently in CEVO, where they had a great early game, And then they kind of threw a little bit in the mid game. Now, of course, they did come back into the late and did very well, but this mid-game deficit that they're starting to accrue for themselves is not going to be something that they want to play with. Now Ben has, they know he's there, but it looks like a little bit of a bait as Z-Talk is waiting for it. And this great vision coming out from the Black Sheep. With one ward, they spot the majority of the movements coming out from Union Gaming. And I mean, they're holding it out in a pretty defensive position. They're actually waiting for the move to come out. They're going to throw an Ice Blast in. It's going to spot out the extent of what's going on, but Jericho wastes no time in. In for Blade 9. Mystic Flare, though, saves them. We have a Requiem of Souls coming out from Monkey's River, and the double raise will get the kill. Ben has now still surviving with that BKB. He ends up cleaning up Bloody 9. Monkey's Forever going to throw a raise in the... Oh, he actually hits Greedy, but he gets away barely. Now Monkey's Forever turning onto Jericho, and will find another raise to grab that kill. It's suggested regular auto attacks, though, is going to be the one to secure it. So a very nice fight for Black Sheep. They lose Bloody 9, but they get 2 in the process, and they almost clean up Benhaz, which is a very huge thing in this game. He's going to be one of those guys that, again, you really want to focus on killing, and shutting down that BKB is going to make sure that that gets more and more difficult. But once the axe comes out, that's when things get very hard for the Black Sheep, as Greedy gets on the low ground with his orb. Had he gone to the high, maybe Annihilate could have chased, but Annihilate just camping in the mid lane. I think he wants to slowly push and try to grab this tier 1 tower, but Union Gaming's presence, at least on their side of the map, is a little bit too much for them to even think about it. Though setting up on this high ground will facilitate at least sort of a little bit of a push. As you can see, this arsenal of wards going to town on the creep wave. Leo Styles damage, though, is starting to become a problem, so those wards getting cleaned up and very few auto attacks. And Ice Blast does come through and hits on both Z-Talk and Leo Style, but it's not going to do too much, at least not yet. The status on an Ags on Big Bad Bird, pretty much non-existent right now. He's sitting 1 and 7, so probably not going to see that out at least for another long while. Blink and Force Staff does get finished up by the Earthshaker. Blink Vanguard Force Staff on the Centaur Warrunner. Venomancer with the Aghanim Scepter ready to go. Pretty much rushed it after Tread's Aquila. And Shadow Fiend, I think the only guy we haven't talked about. Midas BKB finally finished. And he's going to still sit on that single ring of protection now with Treads ready to go. I wonder what he's going to go for next. Again, it could just be the regular plate mail that he goes for after this and maybe builds that into a Assault Cuirass, or goes the more damage route and grabs himself a Yasha. But whatever his choice is, he's got to get some damage on him pretty damn soon and accelerate his farming speed and maybe just give him more potential in these team fights. I mean, the last team fight, he showed a lot of gusto with the Requiem of Souls coming out and a couple of well-placed raises. One that looked a little bit in the middle of nowhere, but upon later inspection hit on that puck, almost killing him. So some great aware play coming out from Monkey's Forever. Greedy, though, is sitting on the high ground. He's waiting for the initiation. They're going to get a Concussive Blast, gets shot out or blocked out by the Blink Dagger. Even a Plasma Field getting dodged narrowly by Bloody 9. They're going to Force Staff him out of that from the Dream Coil, and Greedy going to get screwed down by a Fisher, and then the follow-up being there. Bloody 9 jumping straight on in, but Benhaz with the BKB timing is able to dodge out the stun. But that's BKB timing, cooldown is gone, and now he's going to fight up 1 versus 1 with Monkey's Forever, but he TPs himself immediately. No stun, but there is a Mystic Flare. He gets out. Barely by the skin of his teeth. Meanwhile, Leo Style chasing in December. The damage, 1 hit, 2 hit, red hit, blue hit. He is gone and out of this world. Leo Style going to try to run away now, but running versus a Venomancer is not something you can easily do. A Meld goes down, but they drop down the Ice Vortex, or the freezing field, so the damage is just way too much for them to deal with. Meanwhile, on the backlines, Blade 9 getting chased by Benhaz. They do have another slow coming up from Venomancer in 8 seconds, but the Ignite is going to make it very difficult to get in position. Blade 9, a couple of stray auto attacks should clean them up. One more, but they're going to use the Plasma Field to end up accomplishing the same task. Big Bad Bird now caught in the middle of nowhere. Will find Jericho, but it's not going to be enough as the raises come through. But the damage is not quite there to kill him before the TP goes. And Well,
Radiant's
the score ends up
mid-tower's
being
coming
23-22. We take a look at the truncated the recap because it misses out on almost half of the action here. So nothing really amazing from this. I guess the XP change is pretty huge, but in general, it looks like they only lost just a little bit because the fight was much, much larger than that one. It looked like Black Sheep started to come out a little bit on top in the beginning of it. So quick note, net worth, Monkeys Forever has now topped the board, and despite some pretty poor early games, sitting pretty much 0-6, 1-6, he grabs himself a Yasha. So it goes for those agi items, goes for those farming damage items, and going to indirectly start building up his armor more and more, but finds himself a double damage rune, and that's going to help him just completely clean house in these team fights. It looks like I Annihilate way too greedy, and he'll go down. That's Ben has with the damage steal, but more BKB charges are going in. These are kind of dive bombs for these BKBs, and he actually could still go down. One more tick, he goes! BKB forced out, and he gets the kill. I Annihilate. Some next level play. If you think about it, Greedy goes down too. Ice Blast to secure that kill. And the big bad bird with a point booster is going to start looking for that Aegis Immortality as Monkeys Forever with a DD rune. Presence of the Dark Lord, only level 1, but still enough. They're just going to go ahead and clean him up.
Old Roche
Old
won't be
Roche
coming back for a while.
Won't be coming back for a while.
The
To
Dire
quote
might want to mine
my
the top
announcer,
tower.
he actually finds
Trouble
a
brewing at
regeneration
Radiant's bottom
room
tower.
too, and throws away his bottle and for some mana or for
Dire's
some
top tower's
lifesteal.
getting beat down.
So talk
Radiant's
about
bottom
coming
tower
back
ain't
in
a
the
pretty
midst
sight
of an
right now.
almost horrid lane defeat, and that the Midas is paying off in the top lane. They want Leo style, but a BKB is going to secure his teleport. These BKBs though, 1-2 on Union Gaming. First one has 6 seconds on its charges. The next one has 8. They're already down very low on their charges. It's 29 minutes in. So Black Sheep, they're not worried. This game is definitely going to go on at least another 10 minutes or so. So by the time the going gets tough, the BKBs don't do anything. 4 seconds is not enough to keep you alive through an Aghadam's Poison Nova. And if he is able to pick up a Veil of Discord anytime soon, it's just going to rip them to shreds, as Blade Knight is going to have now his Crimson Guard ready to go. And they're looking on I Annihilate, but he gets the Poison over on everyone. The Ice Blast hits on Leo Style and Ben has. They're going to go ahead, throw out a Fisher onto Leo Style. He's ticking low. BKB in 10 seconds. Could it be enough? No, he's going to. No! Refraction, keeping him alive. The bottle, though, not going to help, but the TP is, and he gets himself back to base. A nice refraction coming out from him. But you can see the pure power of this Poison Nova. Now Greedy in a lot of trouble. All they need is a stop, and they can't get it. The blink comes out in time. And Monkeys Forever actually could take a fall here. He's going to lifesteal himself back up, and with an Aegis of Immortality, not too worried, backs himself down through the river. But Jericho could be in a little bit of trouble. They have the blink. If they can find him, do they know where he is? They don't. He teleports out, and he is good to go. The Blade Knight, he actually sees a target. Maybe he wants a little bit more. Blinks in onto Leo Style, gets the stop. Still a refraction charge, so he wastes all of that pretty much for nothing, but the Ice Blast comes through. And it will hit, but it won't do any damage just yet. And now in December, just gets cleaned up. The Fisher going down, enough time for Blade Knight to stay alive. There's a gem on the deck, and Blade Knight going to have to stampede himself back. Wants the gem. Can he find it? Doesn't even matter. He's going to go down as he finds Jericho pretty much headlong. And he'll go down, making it a 2-0. That initiation may be a little bit overzealous, not quite burning through his refraction charges before getting off these heavy damage spells. And it could have been the death of him, but also it worked down the charges pretty effectively. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite the effect they wanted. Monkeys Forever going to position himself to go for the defense. The BKB still in 10 seconds. He hasn't had to use it yet. And with the Yasha helm of the Dominator, he's feeling pretty strong in team fights. They've got plenty of Plague Wars on the tower. They're looking for the deny. They will get the deny. Ben has now going to back himself away in due time. Greedy makes his way on in, though. Will go in immediately phase shift, and they want him, but the blink comes out. Now Poison Nova comes out on a Leo style, and he's trying to run, trying to hide. The BKB, 1 second, going to have to pop it or else he's dead. BKB into teleport. He gets himself away, but more BKB charges being spent, and that is pretty much down to almost nothing. 5 seconds, sorry, is the minimum now in. Well, unfortunate, but that is the story of how this game's going. 30 minutes, and we're almost at exclusive 5-minute, 5-second BKBs. Ice Blast comes out, but a nice Force Staff from Jericho secures his life, at least for the time being. They're still going to chase with a Stampede, but now they're getting very greedy. They find him, Enchant Totem into a Stomp. They're going to drop down a Mystic Flare. Almost kills in December, but he gets away very, very low on HP. Annihilate now, backing himself off. They're going to go ahead and throw out the Fisher, but Annihilate now running into Leo style. In comes Monkeys Forever, though, with a Requiem of Souls hitting on a Leo style and doing a ton of damage. He just gets clean to bits. Now Ben has slowed up, no damage. He just tries to run, and he might get away here. Bloody Nine actually could run into a bit of trouble. Shadow Fiend is waiting for this Eye of the Storm on Bloody Nine. The Stomp, though, comes out, but Ben has now trapped in his own greed, and he'll go down. And Gem of the True Sight hits the deck. A 4 for 5. Almost a full 10-man team wipe. Ends up being just a straight-up good trade for the Black Sheep. I mean, only about 1,000 gold going their way. Experience not changing at all. But the important thing to take away from this is Shadow Fiend not only didn't drop the Aegis, but was alive throughout that team fight. Is level 21, 16k net worth, and just through and through feeling really confident about himself. They're going to go ahead and Fire Blast the wrong Shadow Fiend, and he continues to wail on this tower. Now it goes down. Illusions dealing less damage to this tower overall. An Ice Blast will come out on Jericho, and it just forces him to back off. This isn't an Aghanim's Ice Blast just yet. He's still about 1,300 gold away from it. But it is going to hurt just a little bit. You can already see he drops down to about 3/4 of his HP. You imagine with a Poison Nova and a Venomous Gale on top of that, he'd just be straight up dead. So Annihilate trying to farm up again. 1,300 gold on top of his original kit. He did end up picking up that Blink and the interim, or has had it for pretty much a while, but he doesn't have any further items for his magic damage. Still no Veil of Discord for this purely magic team, or this really magic heavy team. And interesting choice, but I guess the Blink does work out a little bit better. They're going to go on Bloody Nine, and they don't even need to. They don't so much as breathe on him, and he's gone. That's just how strong of a team they have in terms of magic damage. It's blink in, kill, blink out, and that's how it's been for the past 10 to 20 minutes. They just go on whoever they want that's alone. Even when they're not alone, they just clean them up immediately so that the other guy becomes alone, and then they kill the other guy because he's alone. So
Radiant's bottom tower.
They really just can't win. And Bloody Nine, he's got a Crimson Guard, so he's got plenty of HP and damage block, and he just sits straight up on the high ground. And the tower does get return damage. So it's taking damage just by hitting them, and then going down to all this auto attack damage coming in. They can't stop this push just yet, and now they might even die for this. As I don't know, Leo style comes in with BKB ready to go. Monkeys Forever. The Crimson Guard is going to get popped, and they back themselves off. Regroup. BKB's gone. Now they go back in. They've got a Poison Nova ready to go. They've got an Ice Blast ready to go. Ice Blast flies in. Kind of splitting the wickets here, and it won't do anything, but an Echo Slam comes in just to stun Ben has. They've got a Mystic Flare and a Arcane Seal on the Indecember. The Mystic Flare only hits a little bit on the Bloody Nine, but he's still low. Now Monkeys Forever comes in with a Requiem and cleans house. Double buyback right now for Union Gaming, but they can't really do anything right now. Monkeys Forever has it. Oh, wait, no, he did not. They've got the Dream Coil on him. Plasma Field comes out. They clean him up. He is gone. Big Bad Bird as well. The buybacks do end up being successful, and they defend their base. 80 seconds on the board for Monkeys Forever with buyback available, but Ancient Apparition, the Big Bad Bird, 45 now. No buyback. Doesn't matter too much, as there's nothing that's really going to be too ill-affected for him by being off the board for 30 seconds, aside from maybe farming up the rest of his Aghanim Scepter. But even with passive gold, that's going to come in a fairly good amount of time. Jericho in the meantime, farming up, and the what is Ancient Apparition's inability to farm up. And his Aghanim Scepter going to be coming out in about 2k gold. That's going to help out. The Unrefined Fire Blast is definitely going to be something that they want to see. Just some extra CC, a ton of extra damage, and overall turns Ogre Magi into an early to mid game bursting support to a throughout the game huge nuking support. Group up from the team of the Black Sheep and the mid. Roshan, they already took it. It's going to be back up in a couple of seconds. Only about a minute after that randomized timer. So it's the Union Gaming that are in the better position to take it right now. Nice Santa hat, by the way. But they can't take it for free. Black Sheep are positioned and ready to go. They want to try to win a team fight and then take it. If Blade 9 goes down, this could be the start, but he pops his BKB, now goes on to Greedy. Greedy going to have to phase shift out and blink himself away, but the Poison Nova comes out, hits on the Leo style. Ben Haz will evade it for the time being. Ben Haz stealing damage from Monkeys Forever. I don't think Monkeys Forever really cares right now, as the Raze is all they really worry about. And they do clean him up. A 2-kill for Monkeys Forever. And yeah, the attempt to get a team fight to set up Roche ends up failing, they fall flat on their face, and now Roshan is wide open for the Black Sheep to take. And Aegis to finish on Shadow Fiend would be absolutely huge right now, as I think he's got his full he's got his full data list out on him right now. So I wonder, I don't think he drops anything. Maybe he just drops his Midas straight up for the Aegis of Mortality, or goes for the BKB as Earthshaker finds Greedy. And living up to his name, I guess. Again, pulling that pun.
Radiant's mid tower ain't doing so good.
That's not something you want to give away. That's 3 he dead without buyback, though Skywrath Mage is back and alive. Puck and Ben Haz on the Razor are gone for a very large sum of time. Concussive Shot flies on the Blade 9, but there's not much they can do about it. They throw out the Fire Blast, but again, he's pretty much tanking through all of it. And they're not even done. They're going to push down. Maybe they go through mid lane. They've got Jericho. They've got him with a Poison or Venomous Gale, but they can't quite chase him. He's still pretty fast, but not just that, he's underneath the tier 4 tower, so chasing that far may not be within their best interest. The top tier, the mid tier 2, 3 though, is taking a lot of damage, and they could grab this tier 3 before they back themselves out and go for Roshan. And it looks like Blade 9, he's going to be the sacrificial lamb. No, they back themselves off. They got the wards up. They may just try to do as much damage as possible with them, but the tier 3 is going to remain alive for the time being. Ice Blast flies up. Kind of an interesting Ice Blast, if you ask me. And a very late Urn of Shadows after he finishes his Aghanims. Very interesting pickup coming out from him, but, I mean, if you're going to get kills from this point on, you might as well. Urn of Shadows, great for sustain, allows you to continue to push throughout the game. And the pings come out for Roshan. Union Gaming, they have to check it. They've got a ward, but there still is the possibility to smoke in. Now, they spot on Monkeys Forever, and I think this gives away that they're not roaching just yet. But the Cyanide Traps are spotting out the rest of the team. They throw down a Sentry Ward to get rid of them. There still is this OBS on the high ground here. And they have a gem. They haven't tried to de-ward it just yet. One Plague Ward on the high ground. They do get it with that gem. Monkeys Forever going to find DD, but this is really giving away this Roshan attempt right now. Monkeys Forever chunking it down, though. Looks like, yeah, he's probably just going to give away his BKB for this Aegis, as you don't really need it, but he's going to have to wait for the Courier to come in. And Union Gaming, they're on top of this. They blink in on the Monkeys Forever. They're going to throw the orb onto him, and he's low but not dead. He's actually going to turn on to Ben Haz and drops him so quickly.
Somebody's cooking.
80 seconds on the board, no buyback. He's already spent his BKB, so giving it up right now would be no problem. Leo Style going to find the big bad bird in the background, but carry for a support, not too bad. Shadow Fiend going to pick up the Aegis of Immortality. Courier goes down to the Helm of the Dominator on the ground. And Puck, well, he's in the trees. Not for very much longer. He goes down as well. Aegis of Immortality is finished on Monkeys Forever. He can't put it onto the Courier because, well, the Courier is dead. And now they push down mid. This could just be them winning right here. And the E-Blade. Yeah, Venomancer has an E-Blade. That's salt in the wounds. If you're Union Gaming, get hit by the combo, you're guaranteed to die. And it looks like just that. They on to Jericho, E-Blade out. They don't even need the E-Blade. It's still on cooldown from throwing that cheeky E-Blade onto his ally, Shadow Fiend. And he backs himself off. He's perfectly fine. And do they have any earn charges? Not yet, so they can't sustain quite yet. But they're going to just push in straight and go for the GG here. Monkeys Forever pops his Manta style and just wails in the tower. 38 seconds left on Jericho. We've got Greedy with 10 seconds. Ben has his back. Leo Styles back. And Z-Talk good to go, but they're fissured in their base. And, I mean, they got to decide how they're going to end up defending this. They're actually just going to GG out. They call it. They tap out. And well played on their part. Some great games coming out from both the teams, but it ends up being the Black Sheep who take the game. I guess this is another instance of Union Gaming just having a really great start, but in general, they're just not quite able to finish it out. So I gotta say, great showing from both these teams. A really, really fun game to watch. And well, that's it for now. We've got another game coming up at 9 o'clock EST. And that is going to take a quick look at the schedule. Root Gaming versus no, that's wrong. That's wrong day. It's going to be Justice League versus Team Guess. So that'll be coming up at 9 o'clock EST. We're going to be taking about an hour-long break, 40 minutes give or take. And we'll be back soon with more CEVO action. Stick around.